Let me give you three contextual pieces that are not obvious, but are important. Most of the time as we've walked through this series, I have intentionally not gone into the other Gospels because I want us to have God's perspective as given through John. But to understand this passage, I think there are three pieces that you need to know and keep in mind because it will help you to better understand this context. Number one, just before this, per Luke's Gospel, Jesus made another visit to the temple where he cleaned house again, where he went back in and drove people out and said, my Father's house is to be a house of prayer. And you see him purging there again. He started his public ministry and he ended his public ministry going to the temple, going to the church, and clearing out the hypocrites. Number two, you need to know that in this context, again, Luke tells us that just before Jesus started to clean the disciples' feet and wash their feet, the disciples were arguing over who was going to be greatest amongst them. It helps us to better understand the humility in the teaching of Jesus. And thirdly, you need to know this. Again, the other Gospels tell us that when Jesus made it clear that one would betray him, not only were the disciples asking and confused, who could it be? Judas himself looked Jesus in the eye and said, could it be me? No, not me, Lord. And I tell you that because I want you to understand just how brazen hypocrisy can be when it is born out of hell.